Hi, I'm Mae't Pearson. I am a private practice midwife and I've worked in the UK and Australia, and I'm one of the directors here at It Takes a Village Midwifery in Brisbane. We're based in Kenmore, and we provide predominantly home birth care throughout the continuum of preconception, pregnancy, labour and birth, and then for 6 weeks after birth for mum and baby and families. The reason I chose to be a private practice midwife and a home birth midwife was, I think it was a retrospective thing that made sense to me when everything came together. So I didn't know I wanted to be a midwife when I was a little kid, but I was born at home. And my grandma was a midwife, and I love her very dearly. And I think when I look back, it made sense that, of course, I'm a home birth midwife. So I come from a strong female background, really key on human rights and women's issues, and now I just feel like this is where I should be. But that wasn't always the case when I was a midwife working in different settings. So I've taught at university as a lecturer, I've worked in Indigenous health as a midwife, and I've also worked at tertiary hospitals and GP clinics. And when I was working within the hospital setting, I kept on kind of seeing that women were more passive and they hadn't kind of found their power. And I saw a lot of things happen to people that I didn't sit well with me. And I guess because of my background and because of my trust in home birth, because I was born at home and that strong female background, I just thought it can't be right. And that drove me to do my Masters of Midwifery. It drove me to, teach the next generation of student midwives. And it also led me to work in this way, which is autonomous, woman-centered. And I think when you have that partnership with women throughout the whole journey, I can't help but believe that it reduces trauma, and it helps with that transformation of this really sacred rite of passage. So I guess when you see the contrast between the different settings, it's not just the setting that's the difference, it's the philosophy of care. And I think with the relationship that you build, which is about open conversations, discussions surrounding evidence and choice. Choice is always there. And it's not for me to give, it's like that is our basic right, So I think that's the key thing, rather than, you being one of a number of people that a midwife in a hospital has to kind of look after or care for. And I don't remember a single person's name of any person I ever cared for in a hospital setting, whereas the people that you look after and work with in a home birth setting, you can't not have a deep relationship. And so I think, just being present, holding space for that person to come into their power and grow, I think it's life-changing, and it's life-changing for not only the woman. I would argue there's a gentler transition to life for the baby. And I think you see the biggest transformation in like the family. So the partners are sometimes the people that, talk from the rooftops the most about home birth, because in a different situation, they might be a bystander or someone that's in the room but not deeply engaged with this, transformative moment that has, ripples of, it resonates throughout the rest of the life of that woman and that family. But also, thinking about if there's siblings there, it's just normalizing the physiology of how capable, women are and their bodies are. And so I guess it's the whole family, the generation, friends, grandparents, and I've had, mums of the mum or grandparents that are like, I just wish that was my story, because we've come through this whole history of real medicalized birth, and we're only just starting to have a resurgence, I think. And I think that the change it's palpable. But all you can go off is how women feel, and women tell you that they know that in any other setting or in any other way, or even with other healthcare providers, you just would not have that rite of passage be so sacred or undisturbed. We do have the ability to look after people clinically and medically, but it's the philosophy that's different. So you go, this is that woman's experience where she's at, and if we need to, we will intervene with discussion, with input, with the woman being okay with it. Rather than nothing is physiological or normal until proven that so I think it's philosophically different. And I see the biggest change, in women. Just, you can see it in their eyes, you can see they light up in how you treat them and how they feel about their body, their self, their beginnings of motherhood. It's totally different. Totally different. So continuity of care is slightly different to continuity of carer. We have this little nuance there, where continuity of care can be any healthcare professional that sees a person more than once. So it's kind of vague in its description, but continuity of carer means, going on a journey with the person throughout the whole continuum. So pregnancy, birth, and the postpartum experience for midwifery. And really, when we're thinking about continuity of midwifery carer, having a professional friend, having a known person that supports normal birth, supports normal physiology, but knows when to assess and adapt or react if needed. And the benefits is all evidence, all research suggests that continuity of midwifery carer reduces unnecessary interventions, is more satisfying to women and families, is more satisfying to midwives, there's less burnout, is financially the best option or the most achievable option. There's literally no reason not to. And that's not only with low risk, healthy women, it's actually, there are benefits for women that do have some risk factors as well. Continuity of midwifery carer has better outcomes for those women and babies too. For me, I feel like I am where I need to be in my life, and it's my life's passion. It's pretty much my world. I do have family, and they're very good with me, allowing me to go off and do my thing. But I have no greater joy than seeing women, achieve their hopes and their dreams for this vital time in their life. So on a personal level, the satisfaction I get, and I guess I probably am a bit of an oxytocin thief, junkie, or whatever, but you've got this little world that's happening in their home, in their birth, and it doesn't matter what's going on the world outside. It doesn't matter about, dramas, traffic, weather. You're in this little sanctuary, and you are part of that. You are welcomed into their family, you are a known and loved person. So for me, it's, you know, you have this deep connection with people for this period of time, and then they get their wings and they graduate and they fly away. So it's just the best. It's the best. I can't say anything more than that. It's like it brings me joy, it brings me satisfaction, and it's my favorite thing. I guess the things that I try to be a professional when I'm at people's births as well. So I try not to cry, because I think that, you know, they have enough emotions as it is, and I want to not take away from their experience by me being emotional. But sometimes just like a little smile or a nod at people when they're feeling all those big feels. But I think the one of the most emotional times for me was when I had a woman who had chosen me to be her midwife for her first birth. I think the things that impact on me the most is when you have that, you know how their birth has been last time, and you know what is important to them and vital to them the second time as well. So, and how you hold that so dear to you as a midwife to just achieve that, you know, for them. So one example was a beautiful woman who, in her first birth, her grandma died the week before she went into labor. And I think she was in a place of, well, she was definitely in a place of grief and loss, but also a numbness that kind of happened. And then she had some days of labouring, and then she gave birth. And it was a beautiful birth. It was a beautiful home water birth. And then the second time round, you know, she came to me again and asked me to be her midwife. And in the labour, in the second birth, she looked up at me and she said, I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything about like my last birth, like labour in my last birth. And she says, and I feel everything. I can, you know, I'm in it this time, I'm with it. And that to me, like, I mean, on the day it wrecked me, like it's, you know, but I just like, for me, it's holding that person so that they can be vulnerable and they can feel safe or, you know, sad or angry or powerful or elated. Yeah, that's what does it for me. Yeah. One of the best things about having a midwife on the journey with you is we underestimate or undervalue how important the emotional journey is as well, the emotional and psychological journey. Like clinically, yes, we are clinical midwives. We're capable of, you know, looking after lots of different eventualities. But I think the having that compassionate, kind, close person that's got some tools in their kit to embrace you as a whole person, as a whole family, I think that helps women and the family to be able to be their authentic, primal, vulnerable selves. And I do remember a woman that came down from the Northern Territory, and she'd had a free birth in her past birth, and then she came down and she had a baby with me. And the reason that she chose midwifery care the second time around after free birthing the first time was because she just said, I don't want to have to be on. I don't want to have to be doing the thinking of a midwife. I want to be able to be a woman and be able to just, you know, head off to that other place that you need to go to. She's like, you know, the control element of it is choosing the care that's right for you so that you can surrender to the whole process. And yeah, you shouldn't have to fight and you shouldn't have to think in labour.